How's that for a resource?
Hi guys.
I know.
Hey,
Hey, Luis.
Hey, how are you
Hey,
guys doing?
Wendy. And
good.
Luis, would you do me the honor of recording to the cloud so we can get all of those views?
Right. I'm gonna request to record. You have to uh
I'm approving. I'm all over whatever you want to do, Luis. I
yeah,
mean, come
okay. Well, it's as we all want to, right? It's the collective intelligence that's gonna do it. So I think that you did approve and we're recording. Okay?
celebratory.
Of
And
course, it's 3 minutes before 8. So
yep, and there is the tag team of wonder, which gets to delight us tonight.
hi guys.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Can you hear us okay?
We can
Yes.
hear you very well. We can see Dave as well, fairly well,
And
So it's a happy occasion.
yes, this will be a great treat for all of us. And
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, you guys. Please stop doing that. You're
well,
embarrassing me, seriously.
now, Wendy, the great treat is the added energy of you, both of you, into our high vibrational meeting already. You know how that can get when you have all of these people vibrate highly together, because it's
Yes, I do. I
can
do.
be
I do indeed.
exciting and unexpected, and you never know who might pop in or pop through or
Well, that's true. And I was going to preempt everything with just that you never really know. And for anybody who may be interested, I have a smattering of, or I also have oracle cards around me. If anybody's interested in having an oracle card pulled for them, I have some very special ones tonight that at least want to be pulled, at least one or two for us tonight from the Galactic Heritage.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like that.
and so they were calling my name all day. Um, so we'll just see where everything takes us. You never know where light language is going to land.
we
You never know. You never know.
we are the land of flow, so it flows how it goes, and we all get excited and enjoy it, so we all come back.
We probably one of these days we can have a little tarot card channelings kind of thing, you
Well,
know, because I'm loaded with them.
And I don't read tarot, so I only do oracle cards. So I don't even know the tarot. I don't know
You
the
don't have to know any of it,
I
and you
just
can still read it. I am
I just
sure
read
that
the
you could.
cards as they come up, or as
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got tons of oracles and tarots, and
oh
and I
sweet.
have I have done that professionally and
Oh, have
unprofessionally.
you? Well, you're a step above me, ahead of me on that, because well, I can't say
well,
I've done it
that's not true.
professionally in private sessions. That's true.
Mhm.
But I've never done it.
Look at Dave back there. He says, "You've done it for me so many
I've never
times
done it in
that."
public. I've been, yeah, anyway, I can tell you that when you start recording, but yeah,
No,
um,
they're recording.
Well,
oh,
I want you to know we're recording. That
oh, that's
doesn't
right.
mean all of it goes into it.
Uh,
We do a few little cuts here and there. So
oh, that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good. Well, you guys start where you want to start. Should I mute myself for a moment?
you can keep talking or do
Just keep
whatever
talking.
you
Oh,
want, but
great. Oh, okay.
about five after, then we'll just make a kind of a formal announcement, and
Okay.
we're really not all that hung up on timing and stuff like that. When as soon as Lucas gets here, then I
We
know
Oh,
get
we might have a chance at starting, but we'll give people some time. And I just
yeah.
said that because I saw him pop up.
We keep it very it's a small group at the moment, so we can keep it very tidy and not very regimented. If when we get a larger group, sometimes we have
yeah.
to organize it a little
Certainly can
bit.
understand that. I
Yeah.
actually found Bashar in 2011 and I had a big awakening, and that's kind of really was the beginning of all of it for me. And I got the sacred circuits here. That's where I started like really, really, really working with them way back then. And that led to me receiving a lot of sacred circuits myself, and the light codes, written light codes as well. Um, and soon after that, I found a group of people who were already speaking light languages, and it was something I was very interested in, and it just happened one day. It wasn't, and then it was.
How long ago was that
That
approximately?
was I started speaking light language in 2014, and I started sharing them on YouTube in 2015, and I have ever since. So there's well over 1,000 videos of it. Was just, I will say, to begin with, one of the things that Dave and I both wanted to reiterate, and I know this is close to all of your hearts, is it was really the day I walked outside and was guided to start speaking light languages in nature changed everything.
Wow.
It changed everything for me. I just started receiving a lot of different information and groups of information, collectives information, anything that I was really interested in. It was like I was just wanted to be such an open book. And then I started to see more of my own parallel realities and my own parallel lives, different connections to, Native Americans, for example. But the list goes on and on. And the way that really, I guess I will start by saying probably the first collective that came through was they just presented themselves as the emissaries of the Light Collective, which, as we know, it's one of the things that they really wanted to bring out tonight, was that it's like listening to a symphony, and each and every one of our souls, let's just say, each and every one of these parts of us is part of our symphony. When I'm speaking light language, for example, I could say, oh, that's, the angelic, this is the Pleiadians. However, it is in every given word, sentence, uh, sound, it's almost like everybody's talking at once, like a symphony where every individual instrument is playing. To remove them, they stop and start, right? Each different parts of the symphony stops and starts. So much like that's how I tend to experience the idea of that, is everybody's participating in the symphony, and then sometimes the horns stop, sometimes the drums stop, sometimes then these step forward, this steps forward. It's received by the receiver by vibration of, and often it's received as emotion. A lot of people cry. That's what happened to me. The very first time I started hearing someone on YouTube speaking light language, it was a very emotional experience, of which I had no idea why. No idea. And it was so powerful that it led me to seek out others. And at that time, 2014, 15, we're looking 10 years ago, there really wasn't a lot of out there to reference or to talk to. But there was something inside of me that said, this is part of what you're supposed to do, you've come to do, is to start that fire, start that wave. And it's extraordinary to me now how many people are interested, or who already do speak light language. Does anybody are all of you familiar with it? And does anybody right off the bat have any questions about it, or me, or anything, before I don't want to ramble on about stuff we don't need to?
Sure. If somebody wants to step into and ask a question, you could do it right now. You just need to unmute yourself.
You're doing fine, Wendy, and we'd like to hear from Dave too. And I'm
Absolutely.
familiar with several different types myself, but I did have a tooth removed, and I am not going to speak a whole lot tonight. So if you have questions, notify Luis, please. And your sympathy is better directed at other individuals whose body does not work near as well as mine. So appreciate your concern. And we'll let everybody else talk and do their thing.
Thank you, Ray. I was gonna ask you, uh, light language to me is on the moment kind of thing,
Yes.
and it is an array of waves that will come into my being, uh, physical body and energetic bodies. And it needs some processing, but it's an immediate kind of processing. It starts right away. And maybe I can understand the pauses in that fashion. Okay. You have to kind of absorb that set of vibrations, uh, not in your conscious awareness, but in all else that you are. And it will have a lasting effect, that there'll be more processing, perhaps, that will happen even in the same session or some other session. But my point is that it requires capture, so to speak, and not through memory. It's not about hearing the
No,
sounds again or anything like that.
it isn't.
When I put it out myself, what I notice is there's similarity with the sounds and all of that, but it's not ever the same. It's not.
That's so true. That was very well put. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's a good way to put it, because it's something that it feels it's sort of absorbs into you, and um, I think I find it still to this day extraordinary. And and a woman asked today in a comment about, how do you know who's talking all, at that time, or how do I know if I'm part of that tribe? Well, I'm pretty sure everybody here and any of your listeners would understand that, of course, and that was one of the things they said to me, you guys, today when I was drawing some of these symbols, was the answer, of course, is always, always the question, the answer is always within the question. And they sort of symbolized that in this symbol, if you will, but it's kind of like the question always has the answer within.
Beautiful. So
Uh,
you do glyphs of all these kinds of things?
yeah, they've been coming through for many years, and I have a lot of pages of them. And so but the very same rules, if you will, are apply in that when we're looking at them, it's something it's well, like any other symbol, I suppose. But when you don't already have a preconceived meaning to each one of them, it's going to affect each person differently. And when someone says to me, like, for example, today, as I'm gathering, with my tribe today to be with all of you today, as the symbols come through, it's not that it's a particular message or a particular star system necessarily. Um, but I knew that these were for us today. I just did, it's, um, and today is also, I love the idea of numbers and dates. And today, when you add up all the numbers, is a number two, and the sacred circuit for number two, if you're not familiar with them, today is expand. So today was a message for all of us about expanding, allowing ourselves to expand in ways that we don't understand, but knowing that, as the name of this high vibe channeling is to raise the vibration of the collective consciousness by all of us doing what it is that we're guided to share, and stepping out. And I'm sorry,
Exactly.
I didn't really properly introduce my husband Dave. And it was really through light languages that we met and married. And so um that's something else that can happen.
That,
I
that's
guess.
a that's a story worth telling at some point in time, Dave.
Um, So and it was really all because I, out of the blue, was asked by a woman I really didn't know to do a public light language event, of which I had never done before. And I had only known Dave through, hangouts like this, and I have done a lot of webinars over the years, inviting people in just about talking about light language. And so we met through that avenue. And when I decided to step out and do that was when we met in person, and my entire life changed. So can someone say, can it change your life? You bet.
Yeah, I concur with the notion that it's in the now that you know what needs to be done. That's how you connect to that knowing. And
Yep.
that's how you know that that knowing is coming from the real, the higher aspects of all that you are. Ray wrote in there that this connects with the notion of Seth, basically,
Oh,
just
yeah.
knowing of things, basically. But it is a basic principle of the now, basically. It's only in the now that you can actually derive a knowing. And when that is the case, you know that that is authentic.
Well, I have
Basically.
to chuckle too, because I see numbers and words, and when you said the word knowing right away, the word now, like out of the word knowing, kind of jumps
Now
right
it just
out.
jumped. Yeah, yeah, and
Now.
it's interesting too to me that the now moment is infinitely small. In other words, the more I go into the smallness of it, the more that I am actually in that space.
Isn't it
It's a beautiful
thing?
uh, Mr. Dave, how are you doing today?
Good. How's everybody else?
Everybody else, I think, is good. We have a small but very good group here today.
And we're
Some,
definitely excited to speak light language.
yeah, some people that we have seen before for sure. All of you, really, Bruce, Arla, Mr. Heyman, of course, Christiana that we met on Sunday, Heidi, a regular one, tremendous
That
participant.
was really weird too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt Heidi. I got to tell you about that synchronicity. That I was standing in the kitchen, was it yesterday or well, it was right before Ray posted the message about what you had channeled. And it was the weirdest thing. And now I'm getting super hot right now, like super hot. Um, I literally heard them say, ask, have you loved yourself today? And then I read your message, and I swear I'm getting goosebumps. I was like, what? It was within minutes of this getting this, have you been in love with yourself today? And it was like, and it was an invitation to ask others also, not necessarily in this group, but to ask others, have you, were you in love with yourself today? So it was just such a weird synchronicity. And the sunflowers and the hybrid children, there have been hybrid children who have presented themselves to me, and they called themselves the sunflowers. And they actually said, because we're exceptionally tall. And that was a long time ago, but it brought that up in me too. So anyway, I'm sorry, Dave.
Yeah. I want to acknowledge the fact that we have had some interactions through the last couple of months, I think, in another group. They have not been very extensive, but at times it was only voice, so I could hear you guys. And both of them are, besides a wonderful couple, they're very connected to that we really are. Let's put it that way. I want to also welcome Will, who's in the group, and he graced us on Sunday as well with a
Willow,
beautiful,
right?
beautiful
Willow
participation.
Luis.
Hello, Senor Ray.
That's Willow.
Oh, Willow. Yeah, but no, his name
Okay.
in the chat over here, Zoom, it says Will.
Well,
Yeah, I need to update my Skype to have my full name. I just kept it
Okay,
like
got
listed
it, got it.
obviously.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Sorry for the
I'm
confusion.
just going by that just in case,
yeah. And just
It's
one
all good.
thing while my voice is holding out. I was so glad to hear Wendy talk about the geometric symbols and the sacred symbols, because I was given a rock. I wrote about it on Facebook by the Wee folk today, And then they told me what to do and when to do, and I had to wash it off first. And then I went to take a picture and my camera wouldn't focus, so I took it over by the window and that wasn't right. So they told me to, I set it down and they said, no, pick me up again. So I picked it up and I dropped it and it fell and it stood up by itself. And it had backlit by the light and I could see there was gems in it. And
It
then
was
so
beautiful.
I
I saw
asked
the
it
proof.
to, I said, okay. And it said, you got to sit down for this message. And I'm like, okay. So I sat down for the message. And as soon as I put it on my head, it took me for I don't know how many minutes. And it was all sacred geometry, just flooding me. I was going through all of these different like types of tunnels, and all of a sudden I got to the right tunnel and I went boom. And then all of a sudden, all of these symbols just came flooding by me. Three, four, I don't know how many per second, and I don't know how long it was. And then all of a sudden, I got to see it all come backwards. And then it was boom, I was back in my body. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now, this is part of the close-up of the stone.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So I was just glad when you said that sacred geometry, because I hadn't really thought of it in that way. It was
As soon
just
as I saw the
symbols.
picture that you had posted in the group chat of it, I grabbed well, technically it's Dave's. I grabbed Dave's big Lemurian crystal, and so yes, it's definitely a nice night to connect with our crystal family as well.
Yes.
And that's actually one of the things that I think light language has helped me with, is opening up my connections to all of those things more fully. Yeah, it's pretty
So
amazing.
does Dave had a prepared statement he can put in the chat for us?
I would have to type like that. No, I appreciate everyone inviting us and being excited
Yes,
to have
thank
us
you.
here.
You welcome.
I've known Wendy, when was it? 2017?
18.
2018?
18. Yeah.
When we first met?
Yes.
First met?
Yes.
And I don't think I was speaking light language, but I was familiar with it at that time. And I think I was looking up light language on YouTube, and literally when one of her videos came up, it was sort of like flashing in front of my eyes, like friend, and like I need to say hi to this person. And so I sent her an email, and she responded.
That was that.
And I had no idea if I would hear back from her or what her situation was, or other than the YouTube
And I had
videos that she put out.
and I had just been doing videos, so we had never connected.
So
before
the
that.
synchronicities went crazy after that.
Yeah, it was really weird.
And
It was really weird.
as Wendy was saying, she had an event that she was invited to go to. And I was living in Florida at that time, and I was taking care of my grandson, who was a quadriplegic, by myself. I couldn't go anywhere. So I wasn't able to go on any kind of event or meet anyone outside.
Understand.
The event that she was invited to was 30 minutes away from my house. And
Can't make it up.
she announced that she was going to be participating in this event, and I like signed up right away.
He was
Like,
the first
we're
one.
And
And he brought AJ.
I brought my grandson to the event, and
So many weird synchronicities, which
Yeah.
we won't get into, but
You, but you knew right away that there was a contract already that had been signed.
absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
neither of us had any expectations of anything.
Oh no, I had no,
So
not at all.
totally innocently, it just happened. So sort of letting go of everything and just living in the moment and always wanting to do the highest good, uh, led us together, and uh, now we're both in a situation being able to be together here that we never ever could have imagined
Never could have
possible.
imagined possible.
And
Nope.
uh,
For either of
yeah,
us.
and
No way.
some of
It
it
was too weird.
maybe for our higher meaning, so to speak, of open contact coming and
Yes.
being able to explore a little bit better, spiritually connecting with others, and certainly uh, never in a million years would I've
And
imagined.
sort of a broadening of the channeling capability, the overall energies that you could both connect together, and in some way a better integration within each one of you of all these things, including that thing that we call the yin and the yang and so forth, all of those kinds of things.
Well, when you start following your highest joy and excitement, and let's just, we're firm believers and the best to our ability followers of the formula of Bashar that brought to us. And there would have been no way, for example, when you begin to follow your highest joy, oftentimes the people that we're with, the relationships that we're with, often don't stick around because we're changing so much. And so, for example, I could be standing, just as you said, Ray, I could be standing in the middle of my bedroom one day and just folding clothes, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hello, this is the Lyran Syrian Council, and we have some information for you." I could not talk to my now ex about those kinds of things. And I think it's important as we move into first contact that we talk about this stuff because this is human stuff. It happens. It happens. And I'm getting goosebumps. So that means somebody's like, it's ringing true for someone that you've got to follow your highest joy, as weird as it may be. And it would have never led me or us to where we are. And for me, that just happened to be, and it happened to be talking about, first contact and channeling. But the weirdest part about it is I grew up with Star Wars and Star Trek, and it was nothing new in my home life or and it was never anything new, but the vibration was completely different.
Yeah, and I want to add, uh, I don't remember if it was Ray or Lewis asking Artur the last week or
That was
so
another thing. The
when
Council of Nine and Artur.
So
He's a good friend of ours. Yes.
and Wendy has channeled the Council of Nine. We actually have a bunch of videos about it. But and the Galactic Council of Light as well. I've actually been sort of at night communicating with them. So I'm sure synchronistically, it makes perfect sense. And some of the things that Arturo was saying were almost the exact kind of conversation that I was having with them. They were giving me a little bit more of an expanded version of some of the things. But what I did want to mention, speaking about how Wendy and I met, when we were together, the vibration was so high.
It was so weird.
And one of the questions you were asking is about creating your own reality. Do we really create our own reality? And I would say, in a sense, you do. There's experiences that you wanted to have, so synchronicity is going to bring those experiences to you. But our vibration was so high that Wendy was telling me a story about, we were sitting outside in Fort Lauderdale near the beach. She was telling me a story about somebody getting into a car accident. Seconds later,
That's right.
there was a car accident right in front of us. it's just when you're when you're
It was
able to
so weird.
be in that high vibration, there's no time lag for the manifestations
It was
to
the
happen.
weirdest thing, you guys. We were in this beautiful posh hotel doing this beautiful light language event, and I'm talking literally about how we can talk to the water collective and the water collective consciousness, and how we can talk to the water within our bodies. And now I'm not even exaggerating, guys. All of a sudden, the roof in the room began to leak. And I mean leak and drip and drip. And then it became a gushing flood. And all of the staff had to run in, remove us from the room. It was the irony of it was so bizarre. It was, and then the whole weekend, all the things that could go wrong technologically did, and Dave had to save the day. So it was just so bizarre. When Bashar talked about the amount of synchronicities that begin to accelerate at such an astounding rate, it was just the weirdest thing ever. So yes, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like, okay, like I need to speak light language.
And the way you do it is being in the moment and following your highest excitement. You don't have to be any more complicated than that.
Nope.
It's a beautiful
And
thing, isn't it?
it was
So
just,
Wendy and Dave, we're gonna let you do your thing, and at the end, we'll have a little bit of a question and interaction time with you. I'm sure that there'll be some people here that would like to chime in a question or two,
absolutely.
and we thank you for being here, and we're all yours.
Okay. Well, I'm just
And the
gonna,
replay will be on High Vibe Channeling YouTube channel. And
excellent.
that link will also be shared on the High Vibe Channeling Facebook page.
And is
thank
anybody adverse to it? A little bit of shamanic drumming.
whatever you feel the need to do, and that just perked Arla up
I
considerably.
see clapping. Yay. Okay. I just wanted to mention that too, because that's something that we have here with us too. And I'm kind of feeling that I get, when I'm,
We're all ready for that for sure.
okay.